Hey, welcome to another episode of Your Faith and Health Community. I'm your host, Pastor Jackie Jackson, and as always, on behalf of myself and our producer, Anita Alexander, we want to thank you very much for taking out time from your day. Now, before we get started, you already know I'm going to say something about health care. If you have not yet enrolled in some type of health insurance, you need to make it your Christian duty to go get enrolled. Listen, if you are single and you make $16,243 or less, that makes you eligible for Medicaid. Don't even go to the marketplace because they're going to kick you out because you don't have to pay for your health insurance. That's covering medical, dental, vision, doctor's visits, emergency, prescriptions. Now, if you're a family of four and your total or combined income is $44,550 or less, your whole family is eligible for Medicaid. Now, if you are in the position that you have to go to the marketplace, it's too late to enroll in open enrollment because that closed back in December. It won't open again until November of 2018. But if you've recently started a new job, was recently fired from a job, just recently had a baby, congratulations. Recently got married, congratulations. Maybe just recently got divorced. I don't know, congratulations, I'm not sure. You have to figure that one out. If you're recently coming home from a penal institution, those are called life-changing events, and you are therefore qualified to enroll in marketplace insurance, but you only have 60 days from the date that your life-changing event took place. So you can enroll in marketplace insurance. You can go to www.healthcare.gov, get enrolled. If you don't want insurance for yourself, you go, I'm healthy, I don't need it. What about your family? What about your children or your wife or your mom or your dad? Listen, one of the leading causes of bankruptcy are medical bills. A stay in the hospital could cost you $20, $30, $40, $50,000. You've heard me tell this story before. I went in the hospital because I had congestive heart failure. At that point, I was not insured. I ended up with an $80,000 medical bill. $80,000. 4 months later, went back in the hospital again with congestive heart failure. I don't know what happened. I guess they were running a discount that time, but I still had $65,000 in medical bills. You do the math. 80, 65, I don't want to look bad. I may not get it right. You figure it out. Either way, that can bankrupt you. So look, get insured. You need to do it. Everybody should have insurance. You have insurance for your car. Don't you think your body is more important? Don't you think your health is more important than your car? And now I want to add just another quick statistic in here because it's very important when you look at all the things going on around our country. Every day in the United States, 96 people die from gun violence. Every day in our country, the United States, 96 people die from gun violence. And I want to add this too, because a lot of people don't realize it. Suicide by gun is considered gun violence. So why am I adding that? What does it have to do with health care? Well, it's got something to do with your health, obviously, because if you're affected by gun violence and you die, or you're affected by gun violence, it's going to affect your life. So I'm saying that to say, listen, we've got to do something. If you have a gun in your home and you have children and you don't have it in a lockbox, you're wrong. Putting it under your pillow cannot stop your child from going under your pillow, picking up your weapon, and shooting them or you. 96 people a day in the United States die from gun violence. Okay, I'm done until the next time we talk. I'm going to get off my soapbox. We're here today because I'm really excited. We have some of the cast members of the upcoming gospel stage production, Holiness or Hell, written by Trina Best, in here with us today. The show is actually next week, which is June the
22nd.
Well, actually, by the time you see this, the show is this weekend, which is June 22nd, 23rd. There's a 7 p.m. show on Friday, a 2 and 7 p.m. show on Saturday. You want to get more information? We'll put up some information. You can call and you can get all of that information. But it's a very good piece. It's dealing with life. Every one of us every day has a choice of dealing with holiness or, putting ourselves in hell. Just kind of depends on what you want out of life. But it's an awesome piece. It's about a mother and her 3 children, but mainly her son who is out there. And somebody watching here or be at the show, your child might be out there caught up in drugs, out there caught up in the life, or as they say, I'm about that life. That's what this show is dealing with. I don't want to tell you like a whole lot. We're not going to tell you a whole lot. And by the grace of God, I've been blessed to be the director of this piece, and it's awesome. And it's starring Tiger Graham, who's sitting here to my left. If you remember Tyler Perry's production, I Can Do Bad All By Myself, and the character Bobby, who I believe he was home from prison, right? And he was home. He could get health care insurance because he had come home from prison.
I'm gonna look into that.
and if you remember the scene, I'm not going to go into the scene. I know when we would go places and we'd show up at a hotel, it seemed like every woman at the hotel remember the blue towel scene, but I ain't going to talk about the blue towel.
Oh, wow. Yes, okay.
But this is Tiger Graham to my left. He's starring in it. To my right is Phyllis Evans. I know her as Phyllis Jordan, but I wanted to be sure I said Phyllis Evans right, who's playing Mama Rosalie. Right next to Tiger is playing his Aunt Minnie. Right next to Mother Rosalie is one of her other sons. This is Jerome Johnson playing Micah. Yeah. And I finally said his name right, so I feel pretty good.
Thank you.
And all the way over to the other side, this young lady right here, she's playing the character of Repo, but her name is Marva Hammonds. And I'm excited to have the cast here. We're just going to talk about the show a little bit, and mainly want to talk about how prevalent the show is to what's going on in our everyday life right now. So, Tiger,
yes, sir.
Welcome back to the city.
Thank you. I'm
You
glad
should
I'm
just
back.
get an apartment.
I should. Me and Anita need to talk about that. Need to hear that. Yeah.
So, tell us about you being here.
Well, I'm here. First of all, thank you for having me. I'm always I become a prodigal child of Cincinnati by default, because every time I come here, I meet some new good people, and I want to keep coming back. And but I come back for good causes. This show, to me, reading the script, which is excellent, by the way. I'm not just saying that. And I pride myself on making sure if I'm going to work on something, it has to be something that touches me, that I can relate to, that I could do justice to character-wise. So I'm here because Butcher needs to be, he needs to be seen. People need to see that. There's a lot of butchers out there, and they need to come. If you know a butcher, which is somebody that's knowing he's doing wrong, grown man and 50 times over, still at home with his mama, doing the wrong stuff, and don't want to listen to the people that's trying to help him, he needs to come and see this, because this is not a bashing show, but it's about him understanding that he got to come out of that little situation he's in order for him to help his whole family, but most of all help himself. And God gave you the tools to help yourself, and Butcher is the prime example of one of the laziest cats I ever met in my life. If I could talk to Butcher right now, me and him would have a day and a half to hash some stuff out. Yeah. So I'm just excited because I worked with a couple of people in the show before. Of course, you directed, and I've always been a fan of your work. So I'm always gonna come when you call me if I'm available. But I think this is gonna be something that everybody can enjoy. I've got a dynamic cast. I already heard some singing, man. Hey, bro, ladies and gentlemen, okay, I'm just saying, you're getting ready to get blown the way up out of this piece. So, it's a good thing. So, I just want to make sure you guys know that it's something that's necessary for real, because we were talking earlier, Jackie and I, about the tragedies that are befalling young people and old people alike. And this play is the embodiment of what can happen when you don't get help. It could be different because, people want to come and hurt you when you don't do the right thing, and then you jeopardizing your whole family by putting yourself in a position that you don't need to be in. So that's why I think this is going to be a good show, and it got a great message, man. The message is crazy. So I'm very excited about that.
All right, great. Now, before we move on, we can't move on without talking about Silk and Tyler Perry. So let's talk about Tyler Perry first. I already mentioned Bobby and the blue towel, and we'll act like the blue towel don't exist because this is a stage show. But let's talk. What was it like working with Tyler?
Well, it was very refreshing. You know what I mean? Because little do people know, Tyler is a very caring guy. You know what I mean? He made sure we were well taken care of on the road. He made sure he took time out to fellowship with everybody in the show. It's not like and I took a blueprint from his mold and his model, because Tyler came from zero, man. He came from homelessness to just crazy stuff that he's doing, and I don't think a lot of people appreciate, or they can't, because they don't really know the man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever people say in the tabloids about whatever they talk, everybody's gonna get talked about. They talk about Jesus Christ, but Tyler's real trait that really made him who he is. He genuinely cares about people, and I remember when we did the show, it was the first Madea play. And this is stuff people don't understand. People don't know Madea, I think Diary came out first on the DVD. But the first Madea play was I Can Do Bad All By Myself. And I can remember days that, it looked like, he wasn't going to get up out of that suit. Because that's before they learned to put all the rigging in it to make it cooler. This guy, man, it was phenomenal to watch him work. And I remember when we did this show, they were telling him, man, this ain't gonna work, bro. Flip Wilson already did this. Jamie Foxx already did this. Martin already did this. What you doing? We broke all kind of records. Madea became, I Can Do Bad All By Myself, still got records out there to this day. We became the hottest stage play, period. But what I can say about him right now, looking at the growth and the maturation of his process, he always had that idea. And then some people try to duplicate it. We were talking about that. You can't duplicate somebody that God has chosen to do that. It's just one Tyler Perry. You know what I mean? And that's his mold, and that's what he was meant to do. And being somebody that was a part of the first thing and the first situation, it helped me grow as a young man, because when I was in that show, I was about 15 years old. I'm just telling you. I wasn't. Right. Wishful thinking is very good these days. But anyway, it just taught me that, you can persevere, but it also taught me the power of hard work and the power of not taking stuff for granted, because some people think just because you can sing, you're going to be a star. That ain't how it works. Stars are not built. Stars are made. And that means you got to go through the right stuff, do what you got to do, be around the right people, but you got to understand this is a very competitive industry, meaning that you're not the only one that can do what you do. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of times you're not the best one in the room that can do what you do. It's about the favor that God got on your life and what you're doing behind the curtain that he can see that's hampering your process and your progress. Because he ain't going to bless no mess. You know what I mean? And everybody that did I Can Do Bad All By Myself, I can count on my hands. All of us are doing very well right now. Some of us, like myself, and me and Jackie talk about this, I chose to kind of like try to help the next generation, because I was going in every city looking at all these little cats, and they were coming up to me talking about, yo, man, that touched me, Bobby. Like, bro, I was just on the stage trying to get a check, dude. So that helped you? So I started realizing, if I'm on that stage, I got an obligation to tell that story the right way, because somebody is going to get saved from it, or somebody's going to wake up from it. So Tyler wrote material that related and still relates to people in their down time, showing them how to jump over that hurdle and get better and get right. He gives you choices. So and this is my advice I tell a lot of people. They like, and I see a lot of plays trying to imitate. People want to be stars, man. It ain't about being a star. It's about knowing what God wants you to do. If that's what you want, that's what God put you on this earth to be a star, you're gonna be one. But if not, pay attention to the signs, because God is not going to hinder you or stop you from becoming whatever he made for you to be. But if that ain't your lane, he not going to put no light in that lane, because that ain't where you're supposed to be going. So
you're driving in the dark.
You're driving in the dark. I like that. And then one thing about Tyler's, and I take pride in saying this part, he picked people that were meant to be in the shows. He didn't go grab nobody that just because they could sing, he'll put you in the show. That's a rumor. That's not true. It ain't about your singing. He looks and sees your character and see exactly, and he knows who's gonna do what. So that shaped my whole situation. And
but before you go into
that's the way it go.
Before we go to Silk,
Yeah.
I want to save Silk.
Okay.
We're gonna come back to that. I want to flip over here to Phyllis Faith to Faith Evans. Now I've been knowing this sister since what? Let me see. We're a certain age, of a certain age, and I've been knowing this since
Yes.
I mean, going back to junior high school,
Right.
we sung together and hung out and all that, and then you left and we went our ways, and God has blessed us.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about Faith to Faith, because let me see, you won what? Let me see, you sung at the what award show? And
The Gospel Image Awards. I got a Gospel Image Awards. I got a D.D. Walker Image Award. I have a couple of certificates. I've been on the Dr. Bobby Jones show. I did the Word Network channel.
Oh, and she was also on Judge Mathis. I just thought I'd mention that. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I digress. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was something that. Yeah, but by the way, I won my case.
You won. That's true.
Yeah, I did win my case, and you do get that real money. But I also did Rhythm of the Night. We did Rhythm of the Night, and as a young person, I started out in church, as most of us do in our life. We start out in church, and I always think about the scripture about the prodigal son, how I did grow up in church, but then I became the prodigal daughter, and I strayed off, and I wanted everything, and I wanted it now. And God is not going to force us to do anything. So I did whatever I wanted to do, but then as I got older, I said, you know what, God, I'm so tired of this. I don't even want to do this anymore. And that's how I became who I am today, because God had to make me over. He had to shape me and mold me and just make me do a new thing in life, because it was always there, but I didn't know, because my mindset wasn't on like, hey, I want to praise the Lord. I want to give God. My mindset wasn't there. And as I grew older, I had to grow up to understand why I was going to church, why I should love God, why I should praise His holy name. I had to learn that, because when we were younger, we got forced to go to church because we had to go, because our parents said, no, you're going to church. But so what happened in my life as a transition, I would say, is that I had to go to Youngstown, Ohio. And I had to stay up there for a very long time. And that's how I met my manager, Mr. Gabriel Suber. And one day I was walking down the street singing Praise Jehovah. And he heard me. And he was like, wow, who was that singing like that? So we started doing music together. And as God was working in our life, He showed us that we needed to do outreach ministry. So we worked with a lot of people, and the way I got on the Judge Mathis show was because of one of the young ladies that was in the group called Faith to Faith. But you know what? When you're not doing something right for God, it don't work. She wanted, I got to take a drink before. I said, no, this just ain't going to work. Because if you're doing anything for God, you don't have to take a drink first. So we got with another group, and but he always had that name, Faith to Faith, because that was the name that God gave him. And so that didn't work out. That's a long story. But I said, you know what, maybe God is trying to tell us that we need to just do just me and Him as Faith to Faith outreach ministry. So that's how Faith to Faith came about as an outreach ministry. We go out and we would do nursing homes. We go to schools. We go to the jails. Wherever God sends us, as long as it's approved by God, then we'll go. If He sends us, we'll go. And, I've done Devils with a Smile, which is a reality gospel play sitcom that's coming out. written by evangelist Earlene Guilford Weaver, which she's my spiritual mom, and she's a great writer. So that'll be coming out on the networks very soon. We actually do our first taping in August in Atlanta. But
let me ask you this, though.
yes.
Would you say that all of the things you just mentioned, because you're playing Mother Rosalie, who is a God-fearing, God-loving, praying, hold on, don't let go woman. So would you say all of these experiences that you had through your life, and I know some of your walk, like you know some of mine, would you say those experiences help you develop that character, help you fall into this woman who is such a strong spiritual woman, holding tight, trying to keep her family together? Wow, I don't want to give away everything, so I won't say the other things.
Right.
Do you think that all of that helped you prepare for this particular role?
I do, and it's just so ironic that, like, I have 3 sons and 1 daughter, and I look at the script and I say, oh my God, this is just like a lot of the stuff that I'm going through with my own children. So it's really not that hard for me to play that mother role, because I'm a mother, first of all, and I have that going on with a couple of my children, not all of them, because I do got some good children now. I just want to clear that up. But I do have that prodigal. So I have that butcher. I have a butcher, and I have a Jordan. I have a Micah. And I do have a Daisy, So it's just so.
And it's amazing that all your kids are named after the characters.
Yes, isn't it? But I do, I find myself, I can relate to my character because I have went through a lot of those changes, and I've gotten bad news, and I had to break down and cry, and I had to be strong for my family. So I do believe that a lot of stuff that I went through in my life has prepared me for this moment, such as now, to be able to play such a big part. And I thank God for what he's done, because only God can do that. I never in my wildest dream thought I would see this young man sitting right here. I just thought I would see him on the television. Because I did see I can do bad all by myself, and I do remember the blue towel. But, that's just...
It wasn't a blue towel, y'all.
It was just a part of that he had to play. And, all the women was, but I really enjoyed that, because you know why? That was so very important to know. There are women in the world that are so scared of guys that they will not say nothing, no matter what. I have my daughter, for instance. I'm like, don't allow no man to treat you that way, And I'm gonna be honest. When I saw the way that he was treating that lady, I was so mad at him. That right there, I was just like, oh my God, I cannot stand that guy, because look how he acting. But that was acting. He had a role to play. So I'm excited. I'm excited for what God is doing, because I'm telling y'all don't want to miss what is about to take place, because this is not a play. This is a ministry, and this is a production that God has set forth, and we about to birth this baby.
We're going to birth the baby.
Yes, we're going to birth this baby.
Birth the baby.
Yes.
All right. We done went to a whole nother level. We're over here now. I want to move over here to Tina, who is a twin, Tina Best, and her sister, Trina Best. And Trina is the one who wrote the production. Tina, Trina, and me, we go back when that certain time. But the Arts Consortium down on Lynn Street, and working with a lot of awesome people. Luther Goins, who was mainly the theater director down there. But then we were back in the era where there were abandoned shows, and you had to sing and you had to do a show, and there were no auto tuners, there were no nothing. You were singing on tune, you were singing it, or you were doing it. And Tina is playing Aunt Minnie. Woohoo! She's playing Aunt Minnie. She's Butcher's aunt, and then there's her husband, Uncle Buck, played by Nathan. What's Nathan's last name? That Nathan, y'all know Nathan. Just tell us a little bit about your character, about you. Tell and this musical, because you and your sister, you have a very interesting musical history and have been able to do a lot of things with some awesome people.
Sure. We first of all, we're PK kids. My dad's a pastor.
So you know they bad.
But everybody affiliate preachers' kids as being the worst kids. Okay, we was. But we were all musically able to play everything. My mother, we never sent us to music school. My mother was very anointed and saved, and she prayed over her children one night, and we all woke up the next day and we were playing instruments. We never went to school. And so my mother always sat us beside her on the piano and said, now watch me. Or she would clear her throat, you know. And we knew what that meant. But we had a chance to branch off into different secular music worlds and stuff like that. My twin sister has done so many things. My brother Nathaniel was the lead singer for the OJs. He left with that. Then he also left to go with Gerald Levert. And then he was with Fairfield 4 and Amy Grant, Mickey Howard. He was her music director. So we pretty much learned from him because we watch everything. So we'll call him and say, well, Junior, I need a chord for this because I can't find this chord. And he'll say, Tina, what key you in? And I'll be like, I don't know, just he had to count the colors for me. Say, Tina, you in A flat. You know, I say, okay, I'm in A flat. So because of that, I'm able. Now I know what keys I'm in because he took the time with me. But I also played in the movie Traffic with Michael Douglas and Dennis Quaid. I can't tell you my role because then y'all laugh at me. I'm going to tell y'all my role because I'm going to tell you what my pastor said. Oh, Pastor, don't kill me. I played the prostitute in Traffic, and Pastor said, you didn't need no script, did you? I said,
that was your pastor.
Yeah, my pastor. But he said it out of love because we get down like that. We play like that. And then I had an all-girls band. I remember this gentleman here. Woo, if I told y'all how far we go back, we'd tell our age. That's all right. But I remember him in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania when he first started up Silk. This was before he was doing any acting or anything. This was before, when he first started Silk, we sung together in a place in Pittsburgh called Brockenoots. And that's been, what, like 40 years ago? A little over?
Not that long.
It was only 39.
10 years ago.
Okay.
10 years ago.
So I'm grateful to be playing Butcher's aunt.
Edit that part.
I'm grateful to be playing Butcher's aunt. I just want the best for him, but he's mean to he's mean and he needs to be saved.
Okay.
And we're gonna get him saved.
Yeah.
Now they're in that booth and they're saying that I'm long-winded and I ain't said much of nothing. But what we need to do is I want to make sure I get to these two on the end, and then we're going to come back after a break and we're going to continue this conversation. But I want to make sure that we get to, and I'm going to go to the lady, and then we'll come back and get you. Come on, Marva Hammonds is playing Repo. Repo is the thug. So let me say, let's do this. Marva's playing Repo. Jerome is playing. I don't know, paying. Jerome is playing Micah, and what we're going to do is this, because we need to take a break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to finish this conversation, and we're going to make sure that we start off with, first we're going to do the lady, if you don't mind, first. We'll do Marva first, and then we'll come to you, all right? Yeah. So listen, but for those of you who won't be coming back with us, I want to thank you very much for tuning in. As always, listen, your health, your faith is important, and whether you know it or not, every aspect of your life is affected by health and it's affected by faith. So on behalf of Anita Alexander, our producer, myself, Pastor Jackie Jackson, we want to tell you, stay faithful, stay healthy.